Bizarre Brain Comics.
Oh, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, we're going to have another look at another British comic paper. This is The Eagle. This is from August 1983. This is the follow-up to the very first issue of the Eagle that I covered here a few months ago. So all these stories were continued from there, but I like this paper. I said, whoops! I just dropped my pointer, and this is August 1983, 22p, and you can see it's compared to the size compared to a standard American size comic. And this didn't have a proper, what we would think of as a proper cover, because the cover is, as you can see, some nice artwork, beautiful color, bright colors and everything, is the first page of the chapter of one of the stories in here. In this case, it's Dan Dare, Pilot of the Future. Some great stuff. It says, free mini comic inside. Well, and I was fortunate enough that this came with that mini comic. And the mini comic is actually an advertising deal. This is Action Man #4, Action Force. So this is from 1983. This is basically a British version of G.I. Joe. This is a couple years after the 3-inch figures, G.I. Joe figures were introduced, and it's basically the British version of G.I. Joe. And it has a brief story here, full color, good artwork, Peril at Dragon Rocks, and it's basically a brief introduction. I'm not going to go into the story. Introduction to some of the characters. It's basically something as a springboard. It's advertising and a basic springboard for the whole thing, for the something for the kids to play with or play about with the characters, just like the animated G.I. Joe animated series and stuff was. And of course, American comics had G.I. Joe. Of course, remember the G.I. Joes and Action Man. Their version of G.I. Joe was Action Man. And they go back to the 60s with the 12-inch figures. And so and of course, the backside is just an ad and stuff. So then we get to our main book, Eagle. And it's out of focus. There, that's better. Dan Dare. And this is continuing story. Got fighter spacecraft going to intercept this alien that's there in a war with this aliens called the Mekons, and boom! You can see a big explosion here, and those fighters are just really taken out. I'll just skip over to, because it's buried inside, to the rest of that story. It's a lovely artwork and great use of color, and I think it's watercolor, whatever. It's some really nice stuff here, and of course showing that this is the main attraction of the paper for the readers, because they invest more in the production of that particular story. And Dan Dare has just been in a meeting. He thought he might be up for some disciplinary action from something happened earlier. He's I guess had recently been a captive of these aliens and such like that. Now they're planning on basically benching him, putting him behind a desk here at Earthfort, which is the space station, and the headquarters of their military efforts against these aliens, and then he's talking with some of his subordinates, and they're talking about this secret construction of a bunch of new spaceships with new weapons out near the hit behind Mars, and that's when the alien ships come zooming in to attack Earthfort where they're at, and kaboom! They get hit with this gravity wave or whatever weapon, and that's the end of that chapter. So they don't go very far, and each page is, as I've said many times before, each of these pages is roughly about the equivalent of 2 pages of our standard American comics at that time. Now this 2-page spread could cover an entire issue as far as story is concerned. Okay, then we get to the first story actually in here. Is Mannix Meets the Uglies. Mannix is an android secret agent. At the moment, he's not playing much of a role in this story. He's injured and being repaired. He's just been reactivated, and so he's not playing any part in the story. The previous issue we'd covered, we were introduced to this Farley mad scientist guy and his goons that he made, the Uglies, and they snatched this fellow and to try another experiment. All these goons that called the Uglies they're dumb and they're very strong and powerful, but they are his experiments, and they've all gone wrong. So they caught this other guy, and they experimented on him. Will he come up just being another Ugly? Said his thing failed again, and then all the Uglies are talking together. It's that we're pals. Smith, Booby, Parkinson, all fall down, all pal now. And they got to saying how they want Farley to make them an antidote, to make them look human again. Said, how we do that? Said, oh. Then they come up on Farley and said, we make Farley an ugly. That makes him want to make cure. If he's dumb, he won't be able to. And then they come down and they're about to inject him with the serum, and that's where we're at the end of the story. Now, of course, these are the stories. I think there are three photo stories here. They are what the Italians call fumetti, and it's quite interesting because this never caught on for an American audience, and it's quite interesting. And hey, if anybody out there knows, I've got a question. Have any of these fumetti stories from Eagle or other papers been collected into reprint volumes? That's what I'm interested in, and something like that would be quite interesting to get hold of, and have some gag cartoons, text features. And then I'll get our next story, which is also a fumetti. It says, Walk or Die. It's about 6 British school kids who are lost in the Canadian wilderness. And the story is being told by this girl, Jill. And she's been snatched by this kind of a nutso mountain man called Jacques. Goes, Jacques and Jill go up a hill, and stuff like that. Well, some of her friends have come to try to rescue her, but they get bushwhacked by Jacques, and he's about to kill him. She rushes out. They caught him in a net, and she rushes out, and she basically saves the boys' lives by saying, "No, it can be useful to you. They can be useful to you. They can help you do work around here." Said, okay. And because he wants Jacques to clean and cook. I mean, he wants Jill to clean and cook. Now he's got these boys to do other stuff. He chains them up and ties them up outside his cabin. They can't get away. But she's trying to gain his trust as feeding him and cleaning the place up. But she's trying to come up with he finds a radio, shortwave radio, so maybe she can call for help. It's the next Slaves of the Mad Trapper, and that's see, none of them are very long. Then we have One-Eyed Jack. One cop was out to prove that crime didn't pay, and this takes place in New York City. And this is here we have this guy. He looks kind of homeless, but it's a disguise. This guy is he's a businessman, and he disguises himself as a homeless guy when he leaves, so to discourage anyone from wanting to rob him because he's got all this money on him. Well, these goons here have caught on to his ploy. They beat the crap out of him with baseball bats and rob him, put him in the hospital. When the cops here, who is One-Eyed Jack. He's one of the cops, and the old man won't, because they threatened him with his life. He won't talk to the cops, so they go, but they have a good idea who it was from the MO. They see the guys there, they haul him in, and then take him right back to the scene where the old man was beaten up, and they have a variety of weapons there, clubs, bottles, and stuff like that. And basically said, okay, go to town. They grab him, they go up against One-Eyed Jack, and he pulls a Captain America, grabs the cover of a trash can lid, using it as a shield, just as Steve Rogers did in the Captain America movie, and then beats the holy crap out of these guys, and then hauls them in. Takes them into, and he positively identifies these guys when he sees that they're just a bunch of punks, and how Jack beat the crap out of them, and so they're just teenagers, so they're off to the reformatory. Another thing, story, Crow Street Comp. These are basically a high school soccer team, and they're in the off season, wondering what they're going to do. So they're kind of hanging out with kids, helping this one kid try to find his dog for a pound, helping these other kids with younger kids with their soccer practice and stuff like that. Another kid having to do work around the house while his buddy helps him to it's silly stuff. Bad things happen. Then is The Hand. This is a British guy who's just recently come to the U.S. as a news photographer, but he had an injury and had an arm from a dead assassin grafted to his arm. He's now got full control. Works fine, except this arm sometimes takes control of him. And like he's on this assignment at this mansion for this party, taking pictures, and he's wondering why he's compelled to take these pictures up against this wall. Then he learns that the neighbor on the other side of that wall is one of the gangsters. In the previous episode, he wound up killing one gangster, one of the guys who was involved in the murder of this assassin that was the donor of that arm. And he beat the crap out of some others, burned down the nightclub they were in, and other stuff. So here he is. He's compelled to go to that place, sneak in, and that's when he's attacked by guard dogs. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Can the hand protect Luke? And that's the end of this one. And we have another section on those soccer boys doing soccer, and another photo story, House of Correction. I think this is the last chapter of this storyline. This involves World War II. British airmen shot down behind enemy lines in France, and there have been working with the French resistance. Had been captured by this previous episode by this Nazi mad scientist who's involved in brainwashing. They managed to get to kill the mad scientist and get away, but Before that, one of the guys he had brainwashed was one of the leaders of a local resistance group, and he was given a bomb, a cigarette case bomb, and going to this meeting, and so they're out there trying to know where to go. They're trying to stop him. He gets there, and then the guy is kind of going a little bit nutso in there. They bust in right in the middle of a fight there. They bust in. It turns out one of the other resistant leaders was a collaborator. He's the one who had come with the guy who's got the bomb. In the process, the collaborator and the brainwashed guy are killed. They can't find the bomb. The resistance think these Brits are themselves are collaborators. They take off, and then we find out he did get that bomb. They defuse it, and now let's say, now foot down, Skip, because it's a long way home. Now they're on their way home, and that is the end of next week. Sergeant Streetwise returns. So the next issue will be the beginning of a different story, and that is this issue of The Eagle. And that, I wish we had gotten some of these when I was a kid in the U.S., but I don't know if I would have been, even then I would have been able to keep up because of the continuing stories. But they would have been quite interesting for just to see what the Brit kids were reading at the time. So that's a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed this little peek. I've got some more British comics, and we'll look at more of those in the future. So I want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of The Eagle, these stories. The photo stories, the fumetti, or stuff like about Dan Dare. I've got some other reprint stuff of Dan Dare, and if I can find it, I'll sometime I'll cover Dan Dare in more detail. So thank you for joining me, and remember, comics are art.